Hello Exiles, this is Fusion Gaming and welcome to my series of tips and tricks on how to get through the acts faster, and today we will be exploring Act 6. What I'd also like you to introduce you to is my new microphone. As you probably tell, I sound a little bit better than all of my previous Act videos. So I had a bit of feedback on Reddit where someone stated that I had a very nice voice and the best way to make myself sound better is to get a better microphone. So today we now have a studio microphone. So here we go. In terms of comments on previous videos, there has been a few comments in regards to future acts. So there was a few comments for Act 7 and maybe one for Act 8. Even though we haven't got there yet, there was a few people that were just pointing out similarities between certain zones. So let's crack on with Act 6. Now when you start, you will walk into the zone and you will meet Lily, who will be stood at the end of the docks right here. Once you speak to her, she will give you the task of completing the Twilight Strand. Now, I'm not going to do this just for the purpose of this, but basically you have to come down here, go to the Twilight Strand, and you do have to kill every single monster within that zone. And once you have done that, when you go back to speak to Lily, she will then give you access to every single gem within the game via her menu. Now, I enjoy running Act 6 mainly because the zones are very linear, they are very smooth, and 9 times out of 10, all of the zones, bar 2, which we are going to go through, will always have a nice pathing, which we'll discuss. Another reason why I like it is because you don't have to keep going back to your waypoint, back to town, back to the waypoint, back to town. So like in Act 2, you did have to obviously come back a few times and flick between waypoints to get to certain zones. In this, you only have to come back to town once, and that is after you've killed Raslatha in the Wetlands. And you don't need to come back again. Once you've come back after the Wetlands, you need not come back to town ever again. So it's a case of this town is a one-time visit and that's it. This is another reason why I enjoy this act, because it's nice and fast. So first things first, you do have to go through to the coast like we did in Act 1. And again, same layout as the coast in Act 1. It is always to the right, up and to the right. Now I'm going to put shield charge back in just because it's a little bit faster for me. So we're going to go up here, up to the right, and just follow it until we get down. That's going the wrong way. Down the verge. So we're obviously on an upper edge here. We need to find the verge that goes down. And then you follow this down again, and you should get to the waypoint here. Look at that. Nice and right. It's always the same. Now, there is a zone over here for the tidal island, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think there is anything on there worth any significance. I will review that in a future video if there is, but there's no skill points, so you don't need to worry about it. Move on to the mud flats. Best advice I can give you within this zone is follow the sea line until you get to a wall of some form. When you get to the wall, you then want to follow the wall until you get to a red hut. So here's the wall, you follow it up till you get to a red hut, which is here. And in front of the red hut, this lady that's a little bit more decorated than all of the others with fire on her, she is the one that you need to kill. She's the one that's in the hut now on the floor. She will then drop you the quest item that you will need. Once you have picked it up, I want you to then go directly west, so left, and you want to follow this wall down. Just follow it down, down, down till you get to the door, which is for the I can never say this one, Karui Fortress. So then you're going in here. In this next zone is the first skill point that you will get, which is for Tukohama. You literally follow this round to the right, and you follow it round until you see the totems sticking out the ground. There should be 6 totems sticking out the ground here. This is your entrance to Tukohama's keep. Come in here. Kill Tukohama. He is a phased boss. So there's phase 1. He then triggers the totems. Kill his totems. You then have phase 2 and he dies. There is a crafting recipe always on here. Then go through to the next zone. As soon as you go through the door, go right. And then when you can, go north. Like there. And then the door should always be here. That layout is always the same. It's the same tile set. I don't think I have ever seen that tile set change. Now the ridge is a little bit different. The ridge does change tile set. So with the ridge, personally, I usually like to just head north and to the west, because the door is always in the top left corner. Well, it has been for me whenever I've done it, and I've been doing these acts now for years. So sometimes it will do a backtrack. So obviously I was going up there, so obviously it's going to come back. When you get to the wheel skeleton electric guy, which you will see in a minute, I always forget his name. It's this guy here. What's his name? Fleet Freak. Whenever you get to him, you're halfway through the zone. So then you carry on in this direction. Again, kind of head in a westerly direction, and then as soon as you can start to head north, follow this ridge line. So this kind of edge of the cliff all the way up, and you will lead you to the lower prison. Now this zone, as I said earlier, is one of the two zones where I said that it doesn't really follow any pattern. Now, I did a playtest yesterday, and I couldn't find the lab. I was in here for a good couple minutes trying to find the lab, and it was all the way down past the door in the bottom right corner. So it's a case of that sometimes it just has a mind of its own, this zone, and just kind of goes wherever the hell it wants. If you wanted to memorize the zones, then you'd have to obviously play this a hell of a lot, but it's a case of that once you've played it a few times, there's the lab. So the lab is all the way in the bottom left. Now I'm gonna hazard a guess that the door is back the way we came and up to the left, but again, I could be wrong, but let's see. There we go. Back and up to the left. I know that whenever I have seen the lab in that bottom left corner, the door has always been a bit of a backtrack and to the left, because when this tile set is flipped, I've had this lab down in the bottom left, down like over here, and the door has just been up a bit. So yeah. Then you get to Shavronne's tower. Now with Shavronne's tower, there is a few floors here that you have to do. Again, you are literally just looking for the door up to the next zone. It can be in any of the corners. As far as I'm aware, I don't think it's in the opposite corner. It can be in the top left, top right. Yeah, it can be wherever the hell it wants to be. So we will just quickly zoom through this zone. Hold on. We are looking for, I think it was, if it's not back here, if it's not up here, then it's back there. Yeah, it is back there. I had a feeling that it was back there. But down in this bottom right corner. Yeah, thought so. I have had that tile set before, so I was a bit like, I think we are on the second to last. No, we are on the top floor now. This is the top floor. All you want to do is get to the door. There's nothing else in this zone. Just get to the door and get upstairs. Once you're up here, you have to fight Brutus and Shavronne again. So first of all, you have to kill Brutus. He's phased, so you have to kill him. Then you have to fight Shavronne. Then you have to fight them both. Just wait for them to merge. There we go. Then you can leave, go through to the warden's chambers, pick up the crafting recipe that's on the right here, and then go through to the prisoner's gate. Now, from here, if anyone's watched my Act 1 video, do you remember when I said when you get to prisoner's gate, you count for 5 seconds along the path? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can already see the canyon. Remember the canyon? I said if you can see this canyon, that's the way to go. Now, in Act 6, this is the way to go, but only for your skill point. So you don't need to, this is not the path to go for the rest of the acts, but we do want to obviously go for the skill point. Best thing to do is run around the outside of the arena, because the door will always be on the outside. So the door is over here on the far left, which is the Valley of the Fire Drinker. In here, you have to kill Abarath. He is phased, so once you've phased him, run down to the door for the Cloven Pass. Literally run through this zone nice and quickly. And then go and kill him again. Bye-bye. Once you've done that, that is your second skill point. But again, you don't need to go back just yet. Now, head back to where we were. So head back to the ridge. See the ridge? Go up the ramp and go to the pavement. Once you hit this kind of like cobbled pavement, follow it away from the waypoint. And it will lead you directly to a door for the Western Forest, which is here. No clues for what you have to do in the Western Forest. You don't even need to pick up the waypoint because you never need to come back to this zone. All you do is follow the pavement on the floor. Just follow it, follow it, follow it. You don't need to pick up the waypoint. It will save you a few seconds. And you will get to the Riverways. Now, same again with the Riverways. You want to make sure that you have a movement skill on that obviously can allow you to traverse the bridges. And then main thing you want to do in here is literally just go follow the path until you get to the waypoint. Once you get to the waypoint, if you remember from Act 2, do you remember these two blocks here with the spikes on top? Let me just kill all these monsters because they're in my way. See these blocks here with the spikes on? Blocks with the spikes on. They will lead you to the wetlands again. So follow the path until it leads you to the wetlands. There you go. The wetlands. Now with the wetlands, this is your third and final skill point that you will receive in Act 6. As soon as you walk through the door, turn left and follow it to your left until you hit a wall. Once you hit the wall, there, follow the wall and hug the wall, and the door should be either on the left side or the right side, but it's always right next to the wall. So I'm just going to move a little bit quicker. There we go. It's in the far left corner, nestled into the rocks. In here, you have to kill, obviously, Raslatha. So you have to kill Raslatha's nests. So there's one there, one there, one there. Then go back up and kill Raslatha. At this point, this is when you can now go back to town and you can now go and pick up your 3 skill points. So if you go and speak to Tarkly or Bestel, they will then give you skill points. I think Bestel gives you 1 and I think Tarkly gives you 2. I'm trying to remember how many, but yeah, I know that you get 3. Once you've got them, you can then say sayonara to this town because you're never going to come back again and go back to the Riverways from your waypoint. Now, follow the path. Continue to follow the path until you come across 3 big guys with antlers on their heads. You can't usually miss them because their character size is bigger than everyone else in the map. There they go. There's one of them. So there's one. There's the second one. There's the third one. So all 3 of them are attacking me there. You don't need to kill them. They're your markers. Once you see them, run south. Or down or east. Kind of like it's like south. And you will get to the door for the Southern Forest. Now the Southern Forest always has the same layout. So we will be on an island here. We've just come in here. You then have to go across a bridge and there'll be another island here like that. Then there'll be another bridge that will go to another island like that. And then up here there'll be another island that will go to a little mini island. And then there'll be another bridge that will then go to a bigger island. And all you do is you go down that and the waypoint will be down there. And it always follows this path. Okay, so right now I'm going to head straight south and we're going to look for that first bridge. So let's go. So I'm going to switch back to shield charge. There's your first bridge. Now we go right. We go across till we find the next bridge. There's your bridge. Then we go up. And we're looking for the next bridge that goes off to the right. There it is. Here's that little small island, so that's this. And now we're looking for this bridge. And then on this last island, which is right here now, we're now just going to go in an southerly, then east direction until you get to your waypoint. Which is literally, it should be a nice straight line. There we go, there it is. Okay, look at that. Nice and easterly. Then you go into the Cavern of Anger. Pick up the black flag that drops from this chest, and then go into the passageway. Now this is very similar of the Cavern of Wrath and the Cavern of Anger, in terms of that the comments that we said in regards to keeping with the water and obviously following the water is obviously the way that we want to go. So as you can see here, I'm nowhere near water, so I have, oh, but then we have water here, so I could be going the right way here. So we're going to keep on following this. There's a Valside area down there, but I'm going to assume it's going to curve around. Yeah. Again, there's no water. I haven't seen any water for a bit, so let's try and see if we can go and find some water. There's some water. And yeah. So is it down here? Wait, hold on. Is it down here? This may lead. No. Is this? Yeah, this is done one of the backwards routes that I have seen before. So there's the door, but to get to that door, I have to go all the way back here, then down here to get to. Oh no, wrong way. That way. That way. This way. This way. This way. Then it'll curl around like that. Yeah. That was a bit of an annoyance. This map is just one of those maps where it can be a bit all over the place. It can be top right, bottom left, bottom right. It's just one of those maps. I don't really enjoy them. That map, or that zone, and the prison are the only two in this zone which I don't really care for, because you can't really figure out the layout. With the beacon, it's nice and easy. Just go east. Just literally just keep going east until you get to a raised verge, which is kind of raising up out of the sand, which you will see in a second. I'll point it out when I get to it. This here. So you see this raised verge here? So there's a big rock here. There's two big rocks and a big rock on this side, and then it lifts up out of the sand. This is the route you need to go. But as you can see there, it was just east, 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 all the way here. You go through the pillars, get the crafting recipe at the top of the stairs.
I can't do this just yet.
And then you then have to activate the oil. And you then have to then do the painstaking process of then moving this through all the way along this like little guideline to put into the actual beacon. So, by the way, if you die, this thing will reset and it will go all the way back. Look, if I take out the circle, it does move backwards. So this does slow you down because there's no way to speed this up. The only way to make this any faster is if you had two people, because you can do one side and your teammate can do the other side, and then you will both complete roughly around about the same time. But if you are a one-man player and you like to do it solo, then you are just going to have to do it. So usually takes around about 40 seconds to get from there all the way around to where it's then going inside the beacon. So I'm just going to just shut up while we just try and get this in. There's no way for me to try and skip this. Nice. Bisco's leash there dropped as a nice early drop in the axe. I wish they would drop in the axe like that. It's decent. Nearly done. And there we go. Now, once it's in, go back to the top of the stairs. You would then have to activate this switch, and you can then put the flag in the top, and it will turn into blood. A nice little tip if you want, there's 6 sets of stairs to go down to the bottom to where Whalem is. If you don't want to run down them stairs, go to the right, stand right here, put in the far right corner, put your mouse down there, and if you spam your movement skill, you should be able to move down there. Now, I did this last night. Let me do it from here. Is this going to do it? I did do it last night. It's not going to do it for me. It might be because my leap slam is not leveled enough, but let me try once more. No. If you have Flame Dash or Frostblink, you will be able to do that, but leap slam, I don't know why. It may be because it's not leveled enough yet. I've not been leveling it. I've only put it on like in the last act, just because I didn't want to get stuck on bridges. So now we're on the last bit. So you need to speak to Whalem, ask him to travel to the Brine King's Reef. Now there is a very simple little pathing way or strategy within this zone, which I'm going to teach you. Once you get to the waypoint, I want you to go west till you hit the water line. If you see on my map here, see this water line? Just follow it. Do not deviate from the water line. So I'm not even looking at my character. I'm literally hugging this water line. If you do this, you will typically find the boss within 45 to 50 seconds. If you don't want to kill anything in this zone and you just want to get through it, literally just hug this, because no monsters will spawn on this water line. They all spawn inside at the reef, which is where the reef and stuff is. So you will not see any monsters. And there's your door. Look at that. Most direct route to the Brine King's Reef. Now in here, this is the final boss of Act 6. Once you've killed him, then you will then traverse to Act 7. This is a phased boss, so there will be 3 phases usually. Just avoid the lightning strikes if you can, because they can be very damaging at early levels. So first things first, do the damage to him to trigger him into his first phase. He will then move into the middle of the arena where I am stood, like that, and he'll then shrink the arena, and he will start firing water bolts at you. Lightning bolts, sorry. Water flashes and lightning bolts. That's phase 1. Phase 2, there we go. They'll do it again. So he'll throw water at you from the water that's around you, and he will throw lightning strikes at you from above. Just avoid the circles. Now, phase 3. They'll do it again, but this time they'll shrink the arena and make it even smaller to make it even harder for you. And then at this point, once the phase is done, the arena stays as it is and you have to kill him whilst it's like that. There we go. Once he's dead, he should drop a ton of rares, which I would double check them, and then Whalem will jump off his boat, and you want to ask him to sail to the bridge encampment, and you are then completed with Act 6. Nice and easy, nice and fast. That is why I like that zone, because we only need to go back to the town once. We are now in Act 7, and I will stop the video there. What I would like to do is thank everyone who has been watching over the last couple of days with all of the acts. If you ever want to go through some of the comments, there are quite a few people that have put some helpful tips and comments, and they have said that the reason why they put them comments there is to help anyone who wants to listen to the video or wants any further help. And there's a few people that may have mentioned little things as well. Just to give you guys a heads up as well, I have created some artwork here for some other future videos where I will be going through the likes of all of the currency items in the game. I'm going to go through every single mechanic that's in the game, so whether it be Blight, Delirium, Essence, Expedition, whatever it may be, I'm going to go through everything that's within that mechanic, and I'm going to explain everything that's involved within it and how to utilize that mechanic. And next thing I'm going to also do is I'm going to discuss obviously all of the currency. I'm going to go through all of the unique items, all the best chase items, and obviously pricing roughly on what they are. Basically, I'm going to base that guidance off what they are roughly priced at in previous leagues, but that is subject to change based on the league. So don't take that information as gospel. But they're projects for the future. for the time being, I am obviously going to continue doing these Act videos until we are done. So we're in Act 7 now, so I'll be posting Act 7's video tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow if you want to go through it then. And until we meet again, stay sane. Thank you for watching. Throw us a subscribe or a like if you enjoy these videos. And thank you for watching.